Hey there, Tom here from the Run Testers. In this video, me and Nick are going to be taking a close look at a very popular shoe from the last few months. It's the Saucony Endorphin Shift. Let's take a look. First of all, let's take a look at those all-important stats. The price is £130 or $150. It weighs in for me at 298 grams in a size 8, which is 10.5 ounces. For women, that's 260 grams and 9.5 ounces. There's a heel-to-toe drop of 4 millimeters, and for us, it fits true to size. The Saucony Endorphin range has received quite a lot of attention over the past few months, largely because it's just a really popular series of shoes for different types of runners. At the top end of that, you've got the Endorphin Pro, which is the carbon plate competitor to the likes of the Vaporfly and the Alphafly. And according to most people who use it, it's up there with some of the better carbon plate alternatives that were released in 2020. The Saucony Endorphin Speed is a really popular shoe that kind of covers general running all the way up to running at speed. And Nick will talk about that shoe in this video, as he does in every video that we do recently. It's a pretty good view that that's a good shoe. The Saucony Endorphin Shift sits at the other end of that range of 3 shoes. And unlike the other two, it doesn't have a plate in it, but it's designed for comfort and kind of daily training miles, just to keep you ticking over if you're doing long miles or just doing high mileage. The midsole uses Saucony's Power Run foam, which we've used in quite a few shoes that we've tested from Saucony over the past few months. And it's a really nice foam. It has a nice level of cushioning, and it's also not too soft, so it offers a nice bit of responsiveness as well. The upper's made from a breathable mesh material, which is a bit thicker than what we've seen on some other shoes, but if you're used to Saucony shoes, it will be very familiar. There's also a fairly rigid heel section that adds stability. It's quite a hard bit of plastic that sits at the back there, which is there to add some kind of support to your ankle as you're running. There's also a fair bit of cushioning around the ankle and heel section to give you a nice, secure fit and comfort when you're doing those longer miles. The outsole does have some rubber on it, but it is very minimal. It's quite hard to actually tell where the rubber is because of the design here, but this section here, the green colourway, is actually midsole material, and the rubber kind of sits around the centre section and the outside. So there's not a lot of covering on the outside for durability and protection.
For me, the Saucony Endorphin Shift fit true to size. It's not really like a roomy shoe. It's got quite a sock style fit, but I found it pretty comfortable, and there's a nice amount of padding around the collar and tongue here, which I do enjoy on an easy run.
The fit for me is completely fine. It fits true to size. I found them really comfortable from the first time I wore them, and in fact I did a half marathon in them the first time I picked them up and put them on, and it felt great for the whole thing. They do feel quite a secure fit. They're not a loose fit, they're not a relaxed fit, but they're not tight either. So maybe if you've got quite wide feet, you might notice that. But for me, I've got quite average feet. I didn't notice anything in terms of it being too tight. But if you have wide feet, maybe worth taking that consideration, because they are quite a close, secure fit.
I've done about 60 kilometres in the Endorphin Shift, and probably the first thing to say is if you stick to what the shoe is designed for, which is just cruising through easy miles, then it's a good shoe. It does exactly what it kind of sets out to do. It's smooth with that Speedroll tech. It's stable thanks to that kind of heel counter and slightly firmer foam used. And you can really just roll through those miles very comfortably. The Speedroll tech does come into the fore when you're working at an easy pace, maybe slightly above an easy pace. It's very nice to cruise around in, and down hills it's an absolute monster. It's really nice to run down hills in, I'd say. I did like kind of a 10-mile hilly run, and while I didn't really love it going up hills because it's a lot of shoe, not very nimble, on the downhills, it definitely protects you from the impact of that, and you roll through quickly and comfortably. So yeah, I could see a lot of people might enjoy racking up big miles in the shoe just because it is stable and comfortable. However, that foam isn't lively. It's not a lively or bouncy shoe in any way, and it definitely is a lot of shoe when you try and move up to even just like tempo pace. It runs lighter than its weight, but it still doesn't feel nimble or agile or lightweight on the foot when you are trying to move at a slightly quicker pace. My most recent run, I did kind of an easy to steady hour and then some strides at the end of that. And early on in the run, it was nice, but second half, just moving up towards steady, pace, it just started to feel like a lot of shoe. Just didn't feel like I want that much on my foot for that. And obviously it's designed for easy miles, but a lot of easy run shoes are quite good for just tempo runs as well.
I ran just over 100k in these shoes. I've used them for quite a lot of my kind of training runs over the past couple of months, and I've really enjoyed them for that purpose. They're a shoe designed for daily miles. They're not a race shoe, and they're not really designed for a lot of cushioning. They're just a general shoe that's meant to cover you for all of those runs that you're just doing, where you're just ticking off the miles basically. I use them for runs between 5k and all the way up to about 25k, and for every one of them they just did a really nice simple job of covering me for those miles and feeling comfortable while I was doing it. They are, what I did find about the midsole is that it doesn't feel that cushioned. Something, and I know Nick's probably mentioning this, but something like the Brooks Glycerin has a lot more cushioning in it. You can feel that cushioning as you run, and it does feel soft. This doesn't feel soft. It feels to me more like the Ride 13, which has cushioning, but it's also a little bit harder than you might expect. From looking at this shoe, you might think that's going to be soft and cushioned. I don't think it is. I think it's actually a bit more of a responsive shoe. But having said that, it's not massively responsive. It's not you're not going to get this and feel really fast in it. That's what the Speed and the Endorphin Pro are for. This is really designed for those miles that you're not worried about time. You're not trying to do a tempo session. You're not trying to go faster. It's just to tick off the miles without you having to worry about it. And it fits into that section of shoe very nicely. It does everything time I've run in these. And over the course of lockdown, we're in the lockdown in the UK at the moment, most of my training has been about mileage. I've really just been trying to go out every day and just tick off the miles and just keep the legs ticking over until I really pick up speed training again. And for that purpose, these do really well. I've had no problems at all with these. And I just think they're just a reliable, good shoe that I've enjoyed wearing every time I've been out for a run. I do think they're a little bit more versatile than Nick says. I have tried to pick up the pace in these a few times just to see what they could do, and when I've done that, they don't feel as slow as you might expect. I did feel that I could run a bit faster in these shoes, which is something that I don't often feel with some of the more cushioned options out there, like the Brooks Glycerin. I definitely can't run faster than the Brooks Glycerin, but in this I did feel like it was a little bit more responsive and a little bit harder. So I'm not saying you're going to be doing really fast intervals in it, but if you were heading out for a 10k run or a half marathon, some of those kilometers you could be going a bit faster. You don't know if you go out and you don't know what kind of run you're going to do. It's a nice shoe for that purpose, but you definitely can't do speed training in it. I also found it felt quite stable. There's quite a lot of midsole foam there, but as it's quite hard, it does feel like your foot's really firmly in place. It's not a stability shoe or officially a stability shoe, but it does have a bit of that feel about it. That the midsole and the heel counter there do make your foot feel like it's really in place. So it does have a bit of a feel of a stability shoe to it.
Viewed within the context of the Endorphin range, the Shift makes a lot of sense. It does the job as your workhorse, easy mile trainer that will be stable, comfortable, protective, durable, all the things you kind of want from that shoe. You can do a lot of miles in this and then save the Speed, Saucony Endorphin Speed and the Saucony Endorphin Pro for your special runs. However, within that range, the Endorphin Speed is a fantastic shoe that is good for all kinds of running, I'd say. Like, we've got our 500km review of it on the channel here, and I used it for everything, basically. Racing, easy runs, it's comfortable, it's been very durable for me, and I wouldn't say like I missed having a huge cushion shoe like this on easy runs, because, I'm running about between like 70 to 90k a week. I'm not doing maybe enough easy running that I'd really want such a dedicated shoe like this, which really isn't that versatile, whereas the Speed can cover off everything. It's still comfortable enough for easy runs, but it feels far better on your fast runs. Also, if you are a runner who loves just having that easy day shoe in your lineup, there are a lot of great options to consider. Like, I do feel like the Shift doesn't stand out in the way that the Speed and the Pro do in their respective brackets as kind of fast trainers and race shoes. The Shift, for me, feels quite similar to the Nike Infinity shoes, the 1 and the 2. They're quite similar, not bouncy, quite a fairly dead feeling, but comfortable, smooth ride, protective and stable. But the Infinity just feels a little bit lighter and nimbler to me, which does count in its favour. And then there are lots of other great easy day shoes, like the Asics Nova Blast is a bit more bouncy, a bit more fun to run in on your kind of easy days. Saucony's Triumph shoes I've always liked for easy runs. They're a bit more versatile, you can go a bit quicker in them as well, I find. And then the Brooks Glycerin is probably more comfortable than this, but if you're just looking for pure comfort on your easy runs. So yeah, there's a lot of options there that I think might be just as good. Some I probably prefer slightly more to the Shift. So if you are just looking for a pure easy day shoe, you've got loads of options there. And then if you're looking for versatility, I don't think the shoe really offers that. I think it really is built for easy running. It doesn't do well at speed, whereas the Saucony Endorphin Speed is a fantastic do-it-all shoe, the most versatile shoe out there, I think. So I'd probably be spending my money on that if you are looking for more of an all-rounder. However, I will again sign off by saying that, if you're just doing what the shoe is intended for, those easy runs, racking up miles, stable comfort, it does what it intends to do. It's just, I think there's a lot of options out there that offer a similar feeling, that's maybe slightly more fun or slightly more comfortable or slightly nimbler.
My verdict on the Saucony Endorphin Shift: I haven't tried the Speed or the Endorphin Pro. I'd like to try those shoes, but I haven't had an opportunity to do it yet. Having just tried this shoe, I just think it's a really solid, reliable shoe to wear on very generic runs. Every time I've used it, I've not had any problems with it. I've not particularly thought it delivers an amazing experience, but with a daily trainer, that's not what you're looking for. It's not a performance shoe. It's just there to be reliable and keep you happy on the run, and make sure that you're minimising any sort of pain or discomfort or annoyance that you might get from the shoe. Having said that, and I know Nick says this as well, it doesn't particularly excel in any area. It's not a fast shoe. It's not a heavily cushioned shoe. Something like the Brooks Glycerin 18 or the Nike Infinity Run, for me, a lot more cushions. And if you're looking for cushioning, they're a better option. Same goes for if you want to do faster runs. Something like the Speed, as Nick might say, which I haven't tried, or maybe even Saucony's Ride 13, which is slightly more conducive to running faster, would be a better option. But if you just want to cover mileage and you just want a nice, reliable, comfortable shoe, and you like this design, because if you like this colorway, it's one of the only shoes that really looks like this. So and it's a nice design. It seems to be quite popular with people. It's designed to be a counterpart to the Speed and the Endorphin Pro. And if you've got both of those shoes and you wanted a daily running trainer and you really like those two shoes, it might be worth getting. But if you're just looking for a daily trainer and you've got quite specific needs as to if you need a stability shoe or if you need cushioning, it does a bit of that, but that it doesn't excel in any of those areas. So if you want something really specific, this shoe's probably not going to do it. So that's it from me and Nick. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and check out all the other videos that we've got on the channel, because we've got an enormous amount of shoe reviews on there. If this isn't quite what you're looking for, there may be something else on there. But also we've got all the latest watches and headphones that you might want to make running a little bit more enjoyable. Thanks for watching. See you soon.